여러분 안녕하세요. 비키입니다. 제가 새로운 유니콘의 모습을 하고 나왔는데 어떻게 잘 어울리는지 모르겠네요. 아무튼 우리가 오늘 배울 문법은 줄 알았어? 그리고 줄 몰랐어 입니다. 그럼 시작해 볼까요? Go, go, go! You have probably heard of verb 을 줄 알다 and 모르다, the phrase that is used to express one's skill or ability to do something. So it can translate as to know how to do something or to not know how to do something, respectively. So let's look at the example sentences. If you say 피아노 칠 줄 알아요, 피아노 치다 means to play piano, right? So combined with 리을 받침 줄 알아요, it means you know how to play piano, you can play piano. Whereas 피아노 칠 줄 몰라요 would mean the opposite. You don't know how to play piano, you can't play piano. So this would be interchangeable with 피아노 못 쳐요. Moving on to the next sentence. 한국어 조금 할 줄 알아요. You know how to speak Korean a little bit. You can speak Korean a little bit. Whereas 한국어 할 줄 몰라요 would mean you can't speak Korean. So this would be equivalent to 한국어 못해요. 한국어 못해요 and 한국어 할 줄 몰라요 would be the same thing. And 요리하다 means to cook. So 요리할 줄 알아요 would mean you know how to cook. 요리할 줄 몰라요 would mean you can't cook. You don't know how to cook. So this would be equivalent to 요리 못해요. And 운전하다 means to drive. So 운전할 줄 알아요 means you can drive. 운전할 줄 몰라요, you can't drive. So this would be equivalent to 운전 못해요. So that's what 줄 알다, 할 줄 모르다 means. To know how to do something, to not know how to do something. But the grammar expression that we'll learn today is 줄 알았다 and 몰랐다. The difference is that the verb 알다 and 모르다 are conjugated in past tense. And you may think that this would probably mean you knew how to do something or you didn't know how to do something, as in your skill or lack of skill in the past. And that is actually correct. It can be used to express the skills that you used to have or used to not have. However, there are two other meanings that this phrase can have, which is what we'll focus on in today's lesson. So what are those two meanings? So the first one is I knew that subject with verb or be adjective, as in, oh, I knew it. Like I knew that would be the case. I knew that would happen. And the second meaning is I thought that subject with verb or subject with be adjective, as in implying that was your initial thought, but it turns out not to be the case. It turns out that's not the case. So let's look at the example sentence first. 그럴 줄 알았어. 그럴 줄 알았어. So this 그렇다 means to be like that or for that to happen. So when you combine 그렇다 with 을 줄 알았다, what are the two meanings that it can have? The first one would be like I knew that. Right? I knew it. 그럴 줄 알았어. I knew it. I knew it would be like that. I knew that would happen, right? I knew that would happen. Or somebody would do that, right? And the second meaning would be I thought that would happen. I thought that would be the case. But it turns out not. So now we know the two possible meanings that 을 줄 알았어 can have. But how do we distinguish the two? How do we know which one a specific phrase means? The first one or the second one? So it could be by context, if it's written especially, the context would be the only thing that you would have to rely on. However, when it's spoken, there's a better way. You can tell the two apart by hearing which part is more stressed. So here's what I mean by that. A different part of the phrase is stressed depending on which one of these two it means. In case of the first meaning, as in I already knew it, I knew it, the verb 알았어 is stressed. So it's pronounced like this. 그럴 줄 알았어. 알았어.
그럴 줄 알았어.
As you can hear, the emphasis, the stress is on 알았어, which makes sense because in English as well, when you say I knew it, you stress knew, right? You knew it. So in Korean as well, when you're saying I knew it, like I knew that would happen, you can put emphasis on 알았어. 그럴 줄 알았어. And in the case of the second one, it's pronounced 그럴 줄 알았어. 그럴 줄 알았어. With the emphasis on 그럴 줄. 그럴 줄 알았어. And as you can hear, the 알았어 part suddenly weakens, right? 그럴 줄 알았어. Whereas the first one, it would be 그럴 줄 알았어. 그럴 줄 알았어. So that's how you can distinguish the two. For the next example sentences, I will try speaking out loud each sentence, and you can guess what it means by paying attention to where the stress is put, okay? So let's go. 지수가 올 줄 알았어요. 지수가 올 줄 알았어요. 지수가 올 줄 알았어요. Since 알았어요 is stressed, it means I knew 지수 would come. 지수가 올 줄 알았어요. 지수가 올 줄 알았어요. 지수가 올 줄 알았어요. The stress is on 올 줄, so it means I thought 지수 would come, and it implies that she did not come. 한국어가 어려울 줄 알았어요. 한국어가 어려울 줄 알았어요. 한국어가 어려울 줄 알았어요. Since the emphasis is on 어려울 줄, it means I thought Korean would be difficult, but it turns out not. 한국어가 어려울 줄 알았어요. 한국어가 어려울 줄 알았어요. 한국어가 어려울 줄 알았어요. The stress is on 알았어요. So it means I knew, like I already knew Korean would be difficult. Okay, so great job everyone. So far we have learned how to use 을 줄 알았다. However, 리을 을 is not the only suffix that can be attached after a verb or adjective. Since 리을 을 is a future suffix, right? If you attached 리을 을 after a verb or adjective, it would come to mean I knew that would happen, or I thought that would be the case, right? Then how about if you want to say I knew she had done it, or I thought she had done it, like in the past, or I knew that she is something now, or I thought she does something now, the present. How do you say that? Do you still have to put 리을 을 suffix? And the answer is no. For each tense that you're trying to describe, you can put different suffix. So let's look at the present suffix first. So we learned that for a verb to become a modifier in present tense, you can simply put 는, right? And for adjective, either 니은 or 은, depending on whether the stem ends in 받침 or not. And if in case of 이다, you can put 니은 받침. So you can say verb는 줄 알았어요, adjective은 줄 알았어요, or noun인 줄 알았어요. So let's look at the example sentences. And from here on, guys, I will be providing the example sentences with the second meaning only, which was I thought, but turns out not, because 줄 알았다 expression is used the most commonly with the second meaning, unless it's used with 리을 을 suffix, the future suffix. But when used with present or past suffix, usually it means the second one, I thought. So I'll be focusing on the second meaning, okay? 지수가 매일 일찍 일어나는 줄 알았어요. 알고 보니 부엉이네요. So 지수, every day early, 일어나다 means wake up, right? 는 줄 알았어요. This would mean I thought that 지수 wakes up early every day. 알고 보니 부엉이네요. So 알고 보니, it literally means after I know it. So it means as it turns out, it turns out that it turns out, now I realize that 부엉이네요. So 부엉이 means an owl. So it turns out she's actually a night owl. So I thought she wakes up early every day, but it turns out that she is a night owl. Let's look at the next one. 친구의 성적이 항상 좋아서 매일 공부를 열심히 하는 줄 알았어요. So let's break it down. My friend's grade, like your school grade, my friend's grade is 항상, always good. So because she always gets a good grade, every day 공부하다 means to study, right? And 열심히 means hard. So I thought she studies hard every day, because she always gets good grade. But it implies that she does not study hard every day. Next one. 한국어를 배울 때는 한국어가 쉬운 줄 알았는데 중급 문법으로 들어가니까 어렵네요. So this time it's adjective that is combined with the present suffix, right? For the rest of the two above, it was verb plus 는, right? The present suffix. And this time it's adjective plus 니은 은. So let's break it down. 한국어를 배울 때는 when I was learning Korean, 한국어가 쉬운 줄 알았는데 쉽다 plus present suffix becomes 쉬운 because it's an irregular adjective, right? So 한국어가 쉬운 줄 알았는데 I thought Korean was easy. 한국어를 배울 때는 I thought Korean was easy, but 중급 문법으로 들어가니까 들어가다 means enter. Entering intermediate grammar 어렵네요. I realize it's hard. Let's look at the next one. 너무 어려 보여서 어리다 means to be young. And 어리다 plus 보이다 means to seem adjective. So it means you look young. You look so young. So 학생인 줄 알았어요. This time it's a combination of 이다 plus 은, which would become in, right? So 인 줄 알았어요. I thought you were a student. I thought you were a student because you look so young. And there's one thing I want to point out just in case you guys are confused. So in English grammar, guys, if you say, I thought something like does that every day, it's actually grammatically wrong because of the tense agreement. So I thought Jisoo wakes up early every day would have to be I thought Jisoo woke up early every day because thought and woke has to be in agreement. However, in Korean, we don't write it like this. If we mean something, I thought something was happening right now or on a regular basis, it's used with the present tense and not the past tense like English. So that's why in the review note, you will see that it's translated, I thought Jisoo woke up early every day. And it's because in English grammar, this is correct, the tense agreement, but in Korean, even if the main verb is conjugated in past tense, if you're talking about the present content, then you can put the present suffix. Because the grammar works differently, the tense agreement works differently. Okay, so now let's move on to the past tense, guys, past tense. So if you remember how to make a verb into a past tense modifier, then this would come easy for you. You can simply put verb 니은 or 은 for past tense. And for adjective and 이다, it works the same as in the present tense. So you can just put 니은, 은 for adjective, the same in present tense, right? And 이다, you can just put 니은 받침. And you can know whether it means past tense or present tense by context. So this is something that shouldn't really confuse you, which is good. So verb인 줄 알았어요. adjective인 줄 알았어요. noun인 줄 알았어요. For something that you thought had happened or had been the case in the past. So let's look at the example sentences. 네가 TV를 보고 있어서, since you're watching TV, 숙제를 다 끝낸 줄 알았어. verb 끝내다 plus 니은 받침 줄 알았어. Alright. And 끝내다 means to finish something. So, I thought you had finished your homework. 숙제를 다 끝낸 줄 알았어 since you're watching TV. You thought that had been the case in the past, right? Not what's happening right now, but what had already happened in the past. You thought that, but it turns out not. And 네가 아직 아침을 안 먹은 줄 알고 이렇게 많이 해놨네. 네가 아직, not yet, 아침을, breakfast, 안 먹은 줄 알고, 안 먹다, right? 안 먹다, not eat, plus 은 줄 알고. I thought that you hadn't had your breakfast yet, so 이렇게 많이 해놨네. So I made this much food. 여기서 this 하다 means to make food, to make meal. 이렇게 많이 해놨네. I made too much food because I thought you hadn't had your breakfast. And the next one, 너무 맛있어서 it's so delicious, it's so good. 전문 요리사가 만든 줄 알았어요. So 전문 means professional, and 요리사 means chef. And 만든 줄 알았어요 is a combination of 만들다 plus 은 줄 알았어요. So I thought a professional chef had made it because it's so good. But it turns out it's not professional chef that made it. It's probably someone who's amateur who made this. So that's quite surprising. It implies that. 너무 맛있어서 전문 요리사가 만든 줄 알았어요. Okay, 그 다음에 for future tense, we already learned this. You can simply put the future suffix after a verb or adjective. Let's just do a quick review. What two meanings would this sentence have? So if I pronounce it like 지수가 안 할 줄 알았어, it would mean I knew 지수 wouldn't do it because it's 안, wouldn't do it. And if I pronounce it like 지수가 안 할 줄 알았어. 지수가 안 할 줄 알았어. It would mean I thought 지수 wouldn't do it, but it turns out she did do it. Let's move on to the next one. 그 사람의 성격이 더러울 줄 알았어요. So 더럽다, if you say 성격이 더럽다, it means the personality is messy or nasty, so to have a nasty personality. 그 사람, that person's 성격이 더러울 줄 알았어요. 더러울 줄 알았어요. I knew that person would have a nasty personality. If I pronounce it like 그 사람의 성격이 더러울 줄 알았어요. 더러울 줄 알았어요. It would mean I initially thought that person would have a nasty personality, but it implies that it turns out not. It turns out he's actually pretty nice. 예쁘게 생기셔서 배우이실 줄 알았어요. 배우이실 줄 알았어요. This one is a combination of 이다 conjugate 이다 in honorific form 이시다 plus 리을 줄. So it's 이다 verb combined with 리을 줄. So 예쁘게 생기셔서 예쁘게 생기다 mean to look beautiful, to look pretty. You look so beautiful. So 배우이실 줄 알았어요. 배우이실 줄 알았어요. So I knew 줄 알았어요. I knew you would be a 배우. 배우 means actor or actress. So I knew you would be an actress, implying that, oh, my guess was right. You really are an actress, right? And the second one, you are so pretty. 배우이실 줄 알았어요. 배우이실 줄 알았어요. If I put emphasis on 이실 줄, then it would mean I thought you would be an actress. But it turns out you're actually not an actress. So those are the two meanings that 줄 알았다 can have. And let's move on to 줄 몰랐다. So now that we know what 줄 알았다 mean, this comes really easy. This would come really easy for you. It means I didn't know that subject is adjective or verb. Just that. But it can also mean, like I said in the beginning of the lesson, it can also mean the lack of skill that you used to have. You used to not know how to do something, right? Since it's conjugated in past tense, but it also means I didn't know. I didn't know that fact. So for this one, let's try Korean writing practice. I didn't know it would rain today. Oh, and I forgot to mention that the tense rule applies the same in this grammar like it did in 알았다 grammar. So for present tense, you can put 는 줄 몰랐다. If it's verb and if it's adjective, then you can put 은 줄 몰랐다. And for 이다, you can say 인 줄 몰랐다. The same tense rule applies. And for past tense, it would be verb 은 줄 몰랐다. And adjective, it's the same. 이다, it's the same. So this is past. Since we already know this, I'm just going to quickly go over them. And for future tense, you can just put 리을 을 suffix 줄 blah blah blah. So this would be future. So let's start from the first one. I didn't know it would rain today. I didn't know it would rain today. So you can use 을 suffix, future suffix. So I didn't know. So you can use 몰랐다. 몰랐다. And what you didn't know would come first in Korean, right? It would rain today. 오늘 비가 오다 means to rain. 비가 오다. 비가 오 and then future suffix 올 줄 몰랐어요. 오늘 비가 올 줄 몰랐어요. When pronouncing 올 줄 모르다, you can put emphasis on 을 줄. 오늘 비가 올 줄 몰랐어요. Next one. I didn't know it was raining now. Because of the tense agreement in English, both past tense are used, but in Korean, this would mean I didn't know that it is raining now. It is raining now. The present fact, right? So I didn't know it was raining now. In this sentence, you can use the present tense suffix. So I didn't know it was raining now. 지금, now, 지금 비가 오다. And since it's present tense, you can put present suffix. 비가 오는 줄 몰랐어요. 지금 비가 오는 줄 몰랐어요. The next one. I didn't know mom had already come. So this is talking about like the finished action. So it's past tense. So you can put verb, 니은, 은 suffix. So mom had already come. 엄마가 벌써 already. 벌써 come is 오다. 오다 니은 줄 몰랐어요. 몰랐어요. I didn't know mom had already come. And I didn't know you were a teacher. I didn't know you were a teacher. Like you are a teacher now. The fact that you're a teacher now, I didn't know that fact. So this one would be a present tense sentence. So you can use 선생님 이다. Since it's a be noun verb, you can use 이다 verb. 이다. 선생님 이다. And you can simply add 니은 받침. 선생님인 줄. I didn't know. 몰랐어요. 선생님인 줄 몰랐어요. Or if you want to change 이다 into an honorific verb, you can simply add 이시다, 이시다, and then after she, you can put 이신 줄 몰랐어요. 이신 줄 몰랐어요. 선생님이신 줄 몰랐어요. And the next one, I brought the same sentence. And the next one, I didn't know you were hungry. So this is adjective present tense, right? 배고프다 means to be hungry. So 네가 배고프. And then since it's adjective, you can add 니은 받침. 배고픈 줄 몰랐어. Oh, I didn't know you were hungry. Let's go eat. 뭐 좀 먹으러 가자. Let's go eat something. 뭐 좀 먹으러 가자. 네가 배고픈 줄 몰랐어. I didn't know you were hungry. So now you know how to use 줄 알았다 and 줄 몰랐다 grammar. And on an additional note, this grammar can also be used in a more casual way by simply omitting 알았다 and just saying verb suffix 줄. I'm not sure if you've been watching the K-drama called The Glory, which is a big hit in Korea, and so many memes are created out of it. I'm actually enjoying watching it too. And in that drama, the girl named Yeonjin uses this phrase a lot. 줄, 한 줄, 줄. 진짜 많이 써요. Let's take a listen.
왜 이렇게 늦게 와? 보고 싶어 죽는 줄.
보고 싶어 죽는 줄.
뉴스룸 보는 줄.
뉴스를 보는 줄.
Okay, so that's the end of our lesson. I hope you learned many new things through this lesson, and I'll see you in the next one. 안녕!